Hello everyone. This is an instructional video to demonstrate how to mount the new SteelMaster+Vibe. This is the +Vibe. So there are two ways to mount the SteelMaster+Vibe, and we're going to talk about both of those first. One way would be to leave the SteelMaster+Vibe assembled and remove all of the strings from the guitar. We would remove these two screws from the Jazzmaster vibrato top plate. And we would just simply lay the new SteelMaster+Vibe into position. We would mount the shim underneath it, lay it into position, run the screws in, and then make sure that when we restring the guitar that the strings go between the axle and the frame to the saddle and then to the tuners. That's an easy way to do it. You don't have to worry about disassembling the SteelMaster. But there's another way to do it. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to remove the guitar from the table and I'll be right back. To remove that snap ring, there are two slots that you can see here. We're going to place a small flathead screwdriver into that slot and just press up. And you can see the snap ring came loose. And now we can remove the axle from the bender lever. You may need to loosen that set screw, but I would recommend that you go ahead and remove that stop, remove the axle, and set all these things aside while we put the guitar back on the table. So now that I have removed the axle, the bender lever, and the stop from the frame, we're going to mount the frame under the strings. But before we do, we're going to place the shim that is provided in the package. I'm going to line the holes up where I've already removed the screws, top two screws in the vibrato top plate. Now we're going to slip the frame under each string. Make sure the strings are loose enough to do that. We're going to line up the frame and the shim with those two holes right here. And we're going to reinstall those screws back into the frame, the shim, and the top plate. Okay, now that the frame is installed, I'm going to reinsert the axle. But before we go too far, I'm going to put the stop back on. Then use the SteelMaster+Vibe bender lever. going to reinstall it. We're going to place it, in this case, for the B string, we're going to place it between the B string and the G string. And we're going to slide the axle through the hole in the other side of the frame. And then we're going to use the end of one of these Allen wrenches, it's provided in the package, to reinstall the snap ring. So I've taken that snap ring, put it into the slot of the axle, and I'm going to take the end of that Allen wrench and I'm going to press down. And I think you heard that snap. Visually inspect it. Make sure that it's on there securely. Everything is secure. So now we're going to place the +Vibe on top of the string. So the string is coming out of the vibrato, and we're not going to be placing the ball into the end of the bender lever like we do on just the original SteelMaster. The string instead is going to go under the radius and then under this additional radius of the +Vibe. So we're going to need to find a way to press down on the string, push the bender lever over to be on top of the string. In this case, I'm going to loosen the thumb screws again. You need to do that. And now we have the B string under both this radius and the radius of the +Vibe. That string should be in the slot for this radius. There's a slot on that lever that you need to place the string into. And so now, before we go any further, we're going to make sure that there's an air gap between the vibrato arm and the bender lever. There doesn't need to be much, but you want to make sure that the bender lever does not scrape against that vibrato arm. So you put it into place, and then you're going to tighten that set screw with one of the Allen wrenches. It's the 5/64 Allen wrench that is in the box. So you press it up against the bender lever, tighten that, and then the bender lever is not rubbing against the vibrato arm. You can test it to make sure. And so now we're going to tighten up the B string, bring it to tune. So when I press this lever, you're going to hear that B string bend. Now, I'm going to pause here just for a minute and go ahead and tune up all the other strings, and then we'll tune the bender lever. I paused the camera for just a minute so that I could bring all the strings up to tune. So the guitar is in tune, and now we're going to decide where we want that fender lever to be. I think I'm gonna move the fender lever down, and to do that, I'm gonna need to screw down that thumb screw, which means now the B string is gonna be out of tune a little bit. So I'm gonna bring it back to B, and then we're gonna try bending the B to C sharp, and we're way sharp, so I'm going to tighten the top thumb screw close. So B, C sharp, just a little bit sharp. And now everything is set up. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.